talk about is possibly like, I know it's called like the algorithm is what everyone calls it. And
Right.
so whenever you want to like go viral, the algorithm likes you. It recently actually came out on TikTok that there's a point system or whatever. That's what everyone thought it was.
Okay.
But like I think a couple days ago it came out that someone manually picks the videos that go viral. And if you're already viral on other platforms, so it's called heating up. So they select videos or content
Yep, right,
to
right,
heat
right.
up that is going to go viral. And that
And
is
you're
what
saying this is somebody actually picking these?
there's a manual intervention that picks what's going to go viral is what I was hearing about. I don't know if that's the truth because obviously it isn't like TikTok's going to be like, hi, I'm TikTok
This
and I
is-
agree to this.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, it isn't like TikTok officially agreed to like the point system either. Like if you get so many likes, likes to view ratio or completion. I know personally one of my videos like had a 80% like full completion, like
Okay.
watch it to completion. But then it still got stuck at 200 views.
So mine just recently did that too. So we've posted about 6, and we've tried to stay consistent. We've looked at the numbers. Our first 3 were set. We got capped at 853, 406, and 405. The next 3 sets were literally capped at almost at the same exact numbers: 235, 220, and 206.
Yep.
And I don't understand how it would stop being pushed out, I guess.
And I mean, in addition to that, if you like go click on the analytics link,
Right.
it'll show you like the percent completion. If you on YouTube, I think if someone watches all the way to the end and it's 15% of your audience watches the whole content, that is good.
Okay.
And I had a video of me just being cutesy in a New Year's Eve dress. And it got like, I think an 80% completion rate from start to finish.
Okay.
And it got like a lot of likes. And then it stopped at like 205 or something or 206. And I was just like, and then TikTok was like, well, don't you want to pay us to promote it?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah, that's where. So it's funny that you brought that up. That's new too, or they just released that because we were on Facebook today, and one of our pages got access to quote unquote some new features, is what they said. And it sounds exactly what you're saying TikTok does, but it sounds very automated. It says creators who post quality and consistent content will get a boost in exposure on their visibility. And it said increase in visibility will allow for you to have a broader reach and audience as long as you're posting consistently and quality content. So is that like the same thing? Is it where they're just letting you people?
No, TikTok was like, give us money. Whereas Facebook is like, here, have money to me. And Facebook's like, please post stuff. I will give you money.
Right.
And Facebook like gives me the little notifications that pop up like, hey, you've increased visibility for 21 days straight, which means like I consistently posted high quality content that has gotten good interactions. Whereas TikTok's like, well, if you want people to see this and it is good content and we agree it's good content, give us money.
Okay.
And or like someone manually goes in and picks what's going to go.
Right.
In this case, I guess I'm giving someone money or incentive to make my content go viral.
Which would explain why you're capped out at such an. Okay, that makes more sense because we were just last week. We're talking to a lot of people about viral content and creating those pieces of content, and I was trying to lean more into saying that it is more easier said than done because a lot of people want to produce fake and bad content. Like they're not really passionate about what they're talking about, or they're just kind of coming up with ideas that they think are like hooks or attractive on like the platform. And I feel like some of them work. Like those are the entertainment reels that you see people like doing pranks and whatnot. But we had our first reel that we did, and it was talking about opiates, and it got 2.5 million views on Facebook within a month. It's still growing every day, and the number originally hit 1.9, and then we're at 2.5 now. But it talked about drugs, and so I'm very curious if you have any input on, like, I guess I'm assuming the technology is getting so good where it's listening to the stuff that the videos are saying, and the ones that maybe are talking about very touchy subjects like opiates.
I know,
are they
like
pushing them?
So I mean, I'm a girl. I'm on girl TikTok,
Right.
and there is you're not allowed to say anything sexual or drug related or a lot of different things, and so a lot of girls have been using the term mascara to cover up for something else.
Really?
Like someone I had mascara when I was 14, and
Got it.
stuff like that. Because if you say those certain things, you will get flagged. And I worked in voice to text. open source voice to text now is so amazing with all the accents and everything. So anything you do is immediately transcribed, and that's an additional piece of data that's used in the algorithm.
Is that what allows for AI and those tools that I see that if you're saying like a cuss word in a movie and they can literally reprogram your face to say a whole different word?
That's a deep fake. So that is that's a convolutional neural network that will take images of you and change the way your mouth moves. They call them deep fakes.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
And that's changing like the face, and then of course it's super easy to have audio to make you sound like someone else.
Right.
Now, so that's not even a problem. It's just getting to the point where it's like, I don't know if you saw this, but there was a video clip of the Queen of England in the middle of the pandemic. And she was saying some really outrageous things and then did a backflip, and they put it on the BBC. And then afterwards, the Queen every Christmas is supposed to give her little like speech.
Yeah.
That's what they had for her instead. And then at the end, they're like, you should like really pay attention to what you're watching and think about it critically and don't just accept it, because the BBC with a deep fake of the Queen, like that's and it was intentional.
So, oh gosh, yeah.
And it was with the subtext of, after 30 minutes, like at the beginning, it seemed really like, Merry Christmas, I'm the Queen, normal.
Okay, I don't want to get conspiracy theorists here, but then do you think they may already be trying that with multiple areas of the news where it's like these aren't actually even happening? It's just already
Have
made.
you seen, there's a clip on YouTube somewhere where they took newscasters from like all the local news and they lip synced it to the same exact message to point out the fact that almost all local news is owned by the same company.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't consume local news. I consume other sources that are, different. But I like to think what I'm consuming isn't tainted, but I'm sure it is. And it's probably coming from my own echo chamber reinforcing what I think and believe. And I know a lot of people are always shocked because they're like, conservatives versus liberals and all that, and they're like, and I was like, it's okay to be around someone with a different opinion. You don't have to disagree as long as you're respectful.
Yes.
And
100%.
everyone's like and I'm like, someone could be completely opposing me, but that's okay.
So as long as they're not sitting here and saying you have to think this way, we can't communicate.
So you can have an interaction with someone and be like, I don't agree with you, but I like you as a human.
Yeah, totally.
And I mean, like, as long as they're not, like, insulting, like, the very core of who I am, like, I don't like women. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I'm a woman. I don't know what to tell you.
You're like, that's a little tough one. I could change it. Can you talk a little bit? You said echo chamber, or what was the phrase that you said?
I think of it as an echo chamber.
So what I'm hearing, and I would love for you to go into detail about this, because that is a big part of the technology that exists that I don't think people understand as to why I see this content. Why does this keep popping up? Oh, it's listening to me, this and that. And I've suggested or gone as far when the net neutrality thing was kind of removed that I'm sure advertisers or big media companies are targeting and advertising by IP addresses now.
Oh, definitely.
There's
That's
no
like a
way.
no-brainer.
Yeah, there's like no way there's not. Well, the funny thing is that people were noticing that the phones were listening to them with ads popping up, right? The thing that I noticed 2 years ago when that happened was that those ads were now popping up on my significant other's phone. And I had never used her phone for any of the things that I was searching. Literally, I think I was searching something very I can't remember what it was. And an exact ad popped up on her phone.
I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
I went to Mexico. I got Mexican ads.
Yeah.
Or, like ads in Spanish.
After the
fact.
There we
go.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it's definitely listening. The thing you don't realize is even if you don't like something, like if you watch something all the way to the end, it notices.
And that's what I want you to talk about is how people are influencing their echo chamber without realizing it, because that's why we see what we see, right?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it could start out innocent enough, like you're on a platform, you're scrolling through shorts, and a short for World War II comes up. You watch it all the way to the end.
Right.
And then, like, you scroll to the next thing, and then it's like, oh, here's another World War II thing. And you're like, oh, this is really interesting. And then all of a sudden, like, Hitler and Nazi stuff is coming up on your phone because, oh, you like World War II. Oh, like, it's not that much of a jump. And then all of a sudden they have people saying their ideologies and you're still listening and you're watching it all the way to the end. And it isn't like they're just going to constantly shower you with that. it's like, oh, 1 out of 100, and then all of a sudden 2, 3, 4, and then half of your feed is like that. And you don't realize it, but it slowly moves your content in that way. And so when you're watching things, even if you're not liking, just watching all the way to the end, or if you leave it open on something and it just keeps rewatching the clip and you walk away and you don't think about it, that's counting on there. I mean, at some point they realize you're not actually watching, but it, puts you into a space. To the point where some creators are calling it out like, hi, if you saw my video, you're in girl clips now. Welcome to the show. Hi, I'm Sarah from Sarah in Tech. And I just want to give a shout out to, if you want to learn more about Sarah in Tech, follow me on LinkedIn. Just look for Sarah Herberger, that's Herberger, or on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, we have Sarah in Tech as the handle. If you're looking to hear the unedited version of all of these interviews, they're available on Apple, Amazon, and Spotify. Just search for Sarah in Tech.